Lots to do today still, so let's get going. So is everybody, now that you've thought about it in your process, happy about how to deal with the time and money? Sinclair, I see you've got a hand up.
Yes, hi Leslie. I'm sure maybe you probably mentioned this, but I just want to ask again. So if you are doing this goal setting exercise and you don't use the PDP with your client, where do you then begin?
I've got a goal that I need some help with.
Oh, okay.
Not everybody's going to come to you with a PDP.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll come to you now. Your goal-setting client over the weekend is not going to have a PDP. They're not going to have done a Disney. They've just got this goal they want some help with. You need to decide whether they're clear enough on their goal to not need the Disney, or whether you need to do the Disney first.
All right. Okay.
That you will decide in the moment.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okie dokes. So the next thing that we want to look at is the VACOG. What is the sensory proof that you have that it is done? So register the company, you'll have your registration docs. What can you see?
Will you just share your screen again, Leslie?
Donkey. VACOG, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. What can you use your senses to, what VACOG proof? How will you know when the branding is done? Well, you will have your logo. How will you know when your bank account is opened? Well, you'll have the bank account number. How will you know when your marketing is done? Well, you will be able to see the advert. So we're not doing the office space now. We're not renting, getting the staff member. How will you know your diary is set up? Well, you'll have a link to the diary. And how will you know that your party is done? Well, you'll have some photos, hopefully. Simple. Where do you get this information from? Your client. Of course, you can guide them and make a suggestion here or there, but the decision is theirs. Right? Remember, this is not your goal plan. All you're doing is you are facilitating your client to get clear on their goal plan. Okay, any questions on that piece? Okay. The last piece that I want to do is your celebrations. I want you to understand something about celebrations. Your brain loves to celebrate. Celebrations are most effective when they cost little or no money. So a celebration is not about planning a trip to Turkey for 2 days. Unless you're in the financial space where you would just pop over to Turkey for the weekend. Okay, it's relative. But the idea that you want with these celebrations is that they really shouldn't cost money. Leslie, you did a really great job. Well done. Step done. Now on to the next one. Congrats. So, it's a bubble bath. It's a treat to something that you enjoy eating. But they must be appropriate. Well, see, I can't see you again. You keep pushing your camera so that we can't see you. Thank you. If your client is on a journey to stop consuming alcohol, Flattening a bottle of vodka as a celebration is not an appropriate celebration. If your client is on a weight loss journey, flattening a 54 centimeter chocolate cake is probably not the best way to go. Okay, so it needs to be a little bit kind of appropriate, and it also needs to cost not much money. Don't grab a takeaway instead of making supper. Go and buy something inexpensive that you love, but you consider a treat. Binge watch a series. Okay. Where do you get these answers from? Your client. Now, let me explain to you why celebration is important. Have any of you ever climbed Everest or Kilimanjaro or one of those big mountains? In the chat, tell me how long do you think it takes to climb Kilimanjaro? So, let's see what you say. 14 days, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, 10 days, a week. Okay, too long, says Ailey. Marie, you've got a hand up?
No, it's a mistake.
Okay, all right. Can I tell you that to climb Kilimanjaro actually takes about 18 months to 2 years? From the time you make the decision, you've done all the fitness work, you've got all the passports, you've got all the visas, you've got everything else, you've bought all the equipment, you've paid all the costs. It takes about 18 months to 2 years. So what happens if on the day you're due to climb to the top of the mountain, there's a storm and you can't summit? You're going to stand there and you're going to say, well, this has been a waste of time. I've thrown 18 years at this, 18 months at this, and look, total waste of time. But what if you had celebrated each of the milestones all the way along? And you'd spend some time reflecting and thinking about your achievements. What naturally then happens is, because you've celebrated each of the achievements, the disappointment is not an 18-month disappointment. It's a one-day disappointment. And so you want to get your brain into a pattern of celebrating. You book your first client. Yay me. Take some quiet time. Escape from the family. Go and walk in the garden. Do something. Okay. So what are we going to do? How are we going to celebrate this? Well, first one, we're going to toast with Kendra. Kendra is my daughter. All right. How will we know that we've got the branding logo? Well, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to post it on Facebook. How will you celebrate you've got your opening your bank account? Well, I'll transfer the deposit in. That's the celebration. How will I celebrate once the marketing done? Well, I'm going to send the link to my family. How will I know that my diary is set up? How will I celebrate that? Well, I'm going to send my family the link as well. No, in fact, I'm not going to. I'm going to post the link on Facebook. And how am I going to celebrate the fact that we're actually celebrating the party? I'm going to have a drink, have a toast, have a speech. Speech and a cheers. Easy, simple, non-expensive things to do. Okay. Now, please hear me very carefully. This is where you stop with your client. Okay? But for certification, you're not yet done. For certification, we want your name and your cell phone number, and we want your client's name and cell phone number. Why? Because Dion and I reserve the right to phone the client. Okay? If there's something that we see that they may need some help with, or we want to check that you actually did the session, get some feedback on you, we have the right to phone that client. Okay? Then you will notice that there's a page 2. Please remove this page 2 before you send it to the client. Okay? Please turn to page 80 in your manual. All right. So on page 2, again, we want your name and cell phone number, client name and cell phone number. That should be in yellow. Okay. Then you will see there's numbers 1 to 5. In your manual on page 80, here are 5 questions. Please number them 1 to 5. What do you want? That's your goal. So your answer will be number 1, and you state the SMART goal. Number 2, is it specific, definite, and measurable? Yes, and then please explain to me in what way it is specific, definite, and measurable. Don't just say yes. I want you to justify it. Question 3, can it be initiated and maintained by self being the client? That's a question you need to ask the client. Can you start this goal and finish this goal? Are you the driver of this goal? If not, this is somebody else's goal, and why are you getting involved in it? How will you know when you have it, all of the sensory VACOG things that you're getting from your client? And how come you don't have it already? What has stopped you? Again, that's a question that you need to ask your client. When do you ask these questions? That's up to you. When you feel it's right to ask the questions. And so you then put the answers in here. Then you'll see there's number 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you go look back to your manual, you'll see there's those 5 questions. Then there's a big block. And under here, it says meta outcomes. And there's 3 questions there. What will having it give you? For what purpose do you want it? Can you think of more than one way to get what you ultimately want? Who's going to answer those questions? The client. So there are questions that you've got to deliberately ask your client within your session so that you can answer it for feedback for Dion and I. And then what you do is you save it and you add it as an attachment. The 2 pages you add as an attachment to the email that you're going to send us on Saturday afternoon. Stephen.
Leslie, why do we not let the client see this page 2, the answers to these questions?
Because that is for your certification. It's not part of the goal setting for them.
Okay, so it's not relevant to them.
You can show them. I mean, it's part of our certification process. It's not actually part of the goal setting process.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any questions on this, folks? So tonight you are going to take your goal, that SMART goal that we worked on a little bit earlier, either the one you did for Disney or a different one, and you're going to take yourself through this journey as the client. And then you're going to upload this to the 2 pages. Tonight, I want you to complete both pages. And you're going to upload that as part of your portfolio of evidence. All right. Everybody happy? Everybody know how to do this? Obviously, when you go through it, it's going to start making a whole lot of sense. All right. You start working it through for yourself. It starts making a whole lot more sense. Nita, you look like you have a question.
No, I don't have a question. Thanks.
Ntisa?
Yes, Leslie, you know what? I don't have a laptop. I'm using my phone for everything. So I'm just thinking as I fill it in, how do I now from my phone get to that dash, that canceling out of.
So I don't know. You're going to have to research it and find out. Or handwrite it out and then take a photo and upload the photos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that will work better.
Up to
Thank you.
Because that cancelling out, that control 5 is an Excel function. It's a function in Excel. So if you've got Excel on your phone, then you can do it. Tuli?
So Leslie, I just want to double check. So there are things that we upload on the group, the homework for tonight, which is one of them, but the template that you've just given us now for the goal setting, as well as the change template for the 2 clients, will we be uploading it on the WhatsApp, or because on the
Tuli, I'll go through all of that tomorrow. Okay? Again and again and again, I'll go through it tomorrow. What you've got to know is your portfolio of evidence, and there were 6 things you're going to load up to your portfolio of evidence. So far, you've got 5 of them.
Okay.
There's one more thing I have to give you this afternoon. That has to go to the portfolio of evidence, goes to the WhatsApp group. The feedback on your coaching sessions is emailed to Dion and I. Okay? 2 different things. Remember, we don't certify bums in seats, we certify competence. All right, good. No other questions on that? All right, then what I want to do quickly next now is give you the background to your next comprehension exercise. And then we're going to go into the last 2 change techniques for today. All right, okay. So in NLP, there's a concept called meta programs. Meta programs are page 100 in your manual. What is a meta program? A meta program is a pattern of thinking and a pattern of behavior that is deeply embedded and instilled in you. I want you to think of your brain like a computer. And on your computer screen, at the bottom, you've got everything minimized. You've got WhatsApp, you've got Windows, you've got your email, you've got your Google, you've got all of these folders. Maybe there are a couple of documents and some spreadsheets, and they're all just minimized at the bottom. And they wait there patiently until you need them. And you click on it, and then you use it. And when you're finished with it again, you minimize it. Now, these meta programs function in your brain pretty much the same way. There are basically 14 of them that we want you to be aware of. And what you're going to do is you're going to do exactly like you did with the frames. You're going to go and do some research on them. And then you are going to do a voice note back to us, exactly like you did with your frames, on what is a meta program, tell us about the one that you've been assigned, and give us an example. Okay, so let me explain to you what a meta program is. Just give me a second.
Sorry, Leslie, may you please just go through that again, what we need to do? I didn't get the last part.
It's exactly the same as what you did with the frames. What is a meta program? Tell me about your meta program and tell me an example of how your meta program works.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, you will remember I spoke about big and small chunk sizes, right? Wait, where is everything now? Where's my whiteboard? Oh,
I can see it.
yeah, I can't. Okay. So you remember we spoke about chunk sizes, small chunkers and big chunkers.
Mhm.
So let us understand for a moment that you get people that are either proactive, whoops, no, that's not going to help, that are either reactive or proactive. And somewhere in the middle, there's a middle point. Reactive people require an outside trigger to react to, whereas proactive people create the trigger from within. So think about a home and everybody keeps walking past the laundry basket, and you walk past the laundry basket and you see the shirt lying on the floor and you simply bend down and pick it up. The chances are that the people who are just walking past that laundry basket are reactive people. They're not even seeing that shirt on the floor or the classic bathroom towel on the floor. Loose seat up or down, all of these things. They're not seeing it. But if you happen to say to them, hey, listen, next time you walk past the laundry basket, please just pick up the shirt and throw it in, they're good. And they'll do it no problem. Because by asking them to do it, you've created an outside trigger to which they can react. Now, it's not right or wrong. There are advantages and disadvantages of both. But most people will either be basically reactive or proactive. So let's think about this. If you are the manager of an inbound call center, where people have to answer the phone when it rings and solve the client's problem, are you going to employ somebody who is reactive or proactive? Put it into the chat. Let's see what you think. All right. Let's see what you're saying. No. Most of you are going proactive. No. You want somebody by nature is reactive because they've got to sit there the whole day and wait for the phone to ring. Now, if on the other hand, you are the manager of an outgoing call center where the agents need to make 50 phone calls a day, do you want somebody who is reactive or proactive in that call center? Yep, you want somebody who is proactive. If you take somebody that is proactive and you put them in a job that they've got to wait for somebody else to do their job before they can do their own job, they are going to be frustrated because they just want to get on with it and they want to get it done because they're proactive. Similarly, if you take a reactive person and you put them in a situation where they've got to be proactive, you're not going to have an awful lot of luck. And as the manager, you're going to have to sit on them. Today, I want this, and this from you. Okay, good. There you go. But don't ask me to think about what I need to give you today. I'm a reactive person. So think about your family members. Are they proactive people or are they reactive people? And what are you? So when I have the need to do this with my clients, I think there are 14 of these things. I give them a piece of paper that looks like this. It's got 14 lines on it. Each one has got like a midline to it. And I ask them to plot themselves. And you're here, you're there, you're somewhere in the middle on this one, you're there. And then I say to them, okay, now plot your partner, your romantic partner. And I say, okay, good, we're there, we're there, we're there. Guaranteed, when you're on other sides of this divide, you will fight like anything about this particular thing. When you're on the same side of the divide, you will fight less because you're more the same. Okay, I have posted into the WhatsApp group your assigned meta program. Okay, folks, please, as with the frames, please listen to each other's voice notes so that you can learn and get an understanding of these things. There's no point just listening to yours. Okay. Are there any questions on these frames? So you're going to go and do some research online with them? NLP meta programs, find out what is a frame in NLP, what is your frame, explain it to me, and give me an example of how it works. And those of you that are doing proactive and reactive, you may not use the examples I gave in this training. Come up with your own examples. All right, that is your 6th portfolio of evidence item. So your portfolio of evidence, I'm going to give you the list now. Your vision statement. Your PDP. Your Milton paragraph on hope. Your voice note on the frame. that was assigned to you?
Sorry, Leslie, you were just frozen a minute for me. Would you mind asking the
Vision
going on the-
statement, your PDP, your molten paragraph on hope, voice note, your voice note on the frames that you were allocated, your voice note on the meta program, which you've just been allocated, and your own goal. So I will be doing the compliance audit tomorrow after class. Please, please, please try and get everything uploaded tonight. Okay, so that by the time I get there tomorrow, everything is there. If I can't find it, I'll message you and I'll say, hey, please let me know what date and time you posted XYZ. Okay. Go and do a self-audit. It's much easier for you to scan down the right-hand side and find your stuff than it is for me to go and search and search and search through hundreds of messages. All right. I will tell you if I can't find it. Don't send it to me. I will tell you if I can't find it. All right. Any questions about that? All right. Okay, I am now looking for a volunteer. This volunteer that I'm looking for needs to have a desk that they're sitting at or a table that they're sitting at that they can have 3 chairs. Mind you, it doesn't have to be at a table, or a space where to put 3 chairs in a triangle. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for somebody who'd like some advice on something. Obviously, you need to have a good stable internet so that you can hear me away from your computer. Come on, who wants some advice? Nobody? Well, in that case, I'm just going to explain the technique to you. There must be somebody who wants some advice. Okay, Catherine, what do you want advice on?
I want advice on. Sure.
Do you have a decision that you've got to make that you'd like some advice on?
Probably at the moment it's my work. Coaching versus what I'm going to do if I don't develop the coaching.
All right. Or have you got a family situation that you'd like some advice on, a problem with a friend or something like that?
Okay, I'm going to take a scenario. I have resolved it in my way, but I'll use it. I have a sister who has an OCD problem, particularly with toilet paper and soap. She's in a home, and she's definitely a small chunker. Absolutely drives me mad, because I can give her toilet paper and soap, and it's for a 4-week period, and in 3 weeks it's finished. So I give her like 15 rolls of toilet paper and 3 bars of soap, and I need a solution.
Okay. All right. So your sister's OCD and she uses a month's supply before the time.
Yeah, and she's in a home. There are nursing staff around.
Okay. Okay. So, Catherine, please do me a favor, just right-click on my picture and pin my picture to the screen so that you can see me. Everybody else, please stay out of the chat until we are finished. Okay, so you've got my picture big and you've got all the others across the top, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So Catherine, can you do me a favor and just grab 3 chairs? You've one you're sitting in is fine, just grab 2 more. And put them in kind of a triangle. So put the one that you've got there where you're standing. No, back. Catherine, back closer to the mirror. Yeah, that's perfect. And then if you can bring the other ones so that I can see you when you're sitting on all 3. That's it, that's perfect. Just sit in the one on your left for me, please. On your right, sorry, on your right. Keep forgetting my screen is turned around. Okay, can you bring that one? Yeah, just a little bit. I want to be able to see you. Okay. There we go. And that's perfect. All right, as long as I can see you.
So just angle the camera.
Just down a little bit would be awesome.
Better?
Yeah, maybe just swing it a little bit this way. But it's fine actually the way it is. There you go. No, you've gone the wrong way now. Oh, the other way. So I can get less of your office chair and more of the other chair. There we go. All right. Great stuff. Catherine, will you do me a favor? Go and sit in that chair that's closest to the door. There you go. All right. So, Catherine, who in your world is the person that you go and talk to for advice? Somebody who really just, somebody you know that's a good, wise person that you go and talk to?
Belinda.
Belinda. And who is Belinda?
Friend.
She's a friend.
Yeah.
And over the years, has she given you some really good advice?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were to meet up with either a teacher, I'm talking about a spiritual teacher now, somebody you don't know, somebody you follow, somebody who is wise, somebody who has a wisdom that you relate to, who would that be? Somebody you don't know.
But like a mentor?
As long as you don't know them.
Sorry, I need to just ask, as long as we don't know them on a personal level, or it's somebody that we work with?
No, as long as you don't know them on a personal level. So what I'm looking for is somebody who, it could be Jesus, it could be Muhammad, it could be Oprah Winfrey, it could be
okay, so
Obama.
Who I have as a mentor, it would be
I'm looking for somebody. Sorry?
My angels.
Your angels, okay. Anyone in particular?
Archangel Michael.
Okay. Archangel Michael. And then tell me, when you think of a bird of wisdom, do you relate more to an owl or to an eagle?
Both. Our eagle would pop first.
Okay, so an eagle would be the wise one. All right. So, Catherine, we're having a discussion now about your sister and the fact that you take supplies to her on a monthly basis, and within a very short space of time, she's used up those supplies and you have to take more, effectively. Okay. So what I want to do is I want you, and not right now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up. I want you to turn around. And as you're turning around, I want you to become Belinda. And I want you to sit into that chair that is on your right. Are you ready to do that? Yeah. Are you ready to do that?
Yep.
Okay. So stand up for me, turn around, and you're becoming Belinda. And as you're becoming Belinda, you're going to go and sit into that chair. Now sit like the way she would in a chair. Belinda! My goodness, it's so nice to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
You're good. That's amazing. Hey, listen, Catherine and I were just talking, and she tells me that you're a wise one. She tells me that you've given us such good advice over the years. Hey, I think she's very lucky to have a friend like you. What do you reckon?
Yeah, and she's a good friend to me too.
Okay, great. All right. So, Belinda, what I want you to do, please, is Catherine is sitting in that chair closest to the door. Can you please turn to Catherine now and tell her what she needs to hear, not what you think she wants to hear, what she needs to hear about the situation with her sister. Your best advice for her.
I would suggest that you actually speak to the management and see if they can possibly help you.
Yeah? What else could she do?
Goodbye.
Pardon?
What else could she do, Belinda? What else could Catherine do to try and solve the problem?
She could leave Vivian without toilet paper and soap for the period of time.
But you know, Catherine, would she do that?
No, Catherine wouldn't do that, definitely.
Okay, so I'd like you to talk to Catherine. There must be another solution. You're such a smart woman. What other idea could you come up with?
So am I the one coming up?
You're Belinda. You're Belinda talking to Catherine.
I'm going to give her suggestions for solutions. Okay. So, Kath, have you thought about possibly increasing the amount that you're giving your sister for this period of time?
Very good suggestion, Belinda. What other suggestion could she possibly think about?
Have you thought about taking what you've got, what you give her, but chunking it down into smaller units and actually asking the home if they will assist in some way with Vivian so that she isn't in charge of those items, because they seem to be a problem for her.
So what you're actually saying there, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that the home staff could manage the actual supply to Lillian.
Well, maybe you need to speak to the home, speak to the management in the home, and what about asking them if it's a possibility, or email them, explain the situation to them, and then ask them if it's possible that they could assist you so that when you deliver the stuff once a month, that they would take it instead of your sister taking it.
All right. Really great suggestion. And just maybe, Belinda, do you think that the home have had experience of this before?
Has the home?
Has the home, do you think, maybe had experience of this before?
They could have, but I mean, they have, even if it's not specifically this kind of thing, they would have dealt with, yes.
So they certainly might come up with a really good suggestion.
Yes, they could.
Okay, good. So now, Belinda, in my experience, best friends always tend to hold back that little bit of nugget that really helps. So what is that one thing that you really want to say to Catherine, even if it actually hurts her and upsets her, but she needs to know?
Kath, you need to know that you're not being unkind to your sister by what you're doing, and that you're helping her.
Okay, that's awesome. Belinda, thank you so, so much for your time. I know Catherine appreciates your advice and your input. And so I really want to say thank you, and I hope we meet again.
Thank you.
Good. Catherine, well done. So what we're going to do now is, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up. All right? And as you turn around, I want you to become the Archangel Michael. And I want you to take a seat in that chair opposite you. Okay, you ready? Turn around, turn around, become Archangel Michael, and sit in that chair the way you imagine he would sit. All right. Archangel Michael, my goodness, this is a surprise. I have not seen you in a very long time, but welcome back. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you. Archangel Michael, I know that you've been listening to Catherine's problem and the challenge that she's having with her sister, and I know that you've heard what Belinda's had to say. But you see things a little bit differently. You are so innately wise. I really would appreciate it if you could turn to Catherine now, who's sitting in that chair. And if you could please tell Catherine what you believe she needs to know, giving her your best advice.
What she needs to know.
She needs to know.
Catherine, you need to know that we know that you are doing the very, very best for your sister that you can. And that we are with you. And that we are guiding and protecting you and your sister. And that the solutions that you come up with, we will overnight, we will protect you, and we will give you the strength and courage and the kindness and the compassion, which you already have these qualities that you need, and the strength to make the changes and to help your sister.
Michael, that is such beautiful words of support and encouragement from Catherine. Do you have any suggestions for her on maybe how she could approach this issue with her sister?
What you could do is take time with her to explain what you're doing and the reasons for doing it, so that she understands and that she can see that it's there to help and assist her, so that things are easier for her.
Okay, good. Archangel Michael, do you think that maybe changing the type of soap would make a difference?
No.
Okay, good, good. So then, Archangel Michael, you and I are old friends. We've been in this place before, and I know that you always keep your best advice for last. So if you could turn to Catherine now and give her that very best advice of yours.
Catherine, the best advice I can give you is to keep the faith and know that you are doing the very, very best that you can for your sister in this situation.
Wow. What wonderful words of support and encouragement. Archangel Michael, I know that you're busy and I know that you've only got a very few moments to spend with us. So thank you for the time. Thank you for coming to spend the time with us. And until we meet again, I thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, Catherine,
Sorry.
you're doing really, really well. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up, all right? And I'm going to ask you to become this eagle, this amazing, majestic eagle. I want you to stand up, shoulders back, get your arms out, all right? And then I want you to go and fly around your room, all the way around your room, over pretending that you're flying over mountains, over rivers, over beautiful nature. And then I want you to pretend that there's a very tall mountain just next to that chair where Catherine is sitting. And I want you to go and settle in on that chair and drop your wings so that you're comfortable. You ready to do that for me? All right. Okay, so stand up now. And as you become this eagle, I want to see the proud, there you go, magic. And now take a walk around the room. There you go, over the hills, over the rivers, beautiful. Oh, look at that wingspan. Oh, amazing. All right, awesome. Now, and go and stand next to the chair that she's sitting in. There you go. And collapse your wings so that you're comfortable. Wonderful. Mrs. Eagle, I want to say thank you so much. You and I are such regular visitors. It's so good to see you. What have you been doing this morning?
I've been sitting on my perch up there and looking around to see what's available to eat for lunch today.
Okay. And have you found lunch or are you still going to go and look for lunch?
Lunch is a little bit later on. It might be towards dinner.
All right. Awesome. So, Mrs. Eagle, I know that you've been eavesdropping on our conversations, as you always do. And you've heard what Catherine's friend Belinda said to her about her situation with her sister. You've heard what the amazing Archangel Michael has said to her. But you have a different perspective. You see things completely differently because you look down on the world from a very high perspective. You see things differently. Please, will you turn to Catherine now and give her your very best advice?
Catherine, this time that you are spending working with your sister is a healing process. I'm seeing that you've grown in this time and you've come to have more compassion, more kindness. She challenges you, and yet you have stuck to your guns and you have been there for her, even though in your deepest part of your heart, this is not really what you want to be doing. And I commend you for that.
That's amazing support and encouragement. Thank you, Mrs. Eagle. What would your advice to her be around how to deal with this situation?
My advice to you is to trust the process, to go and take the steps, listen to Belinda, listen to what Archangel Michael has said, and to go and implement this process and see how it works for you. And if necessary, you might need to tweak some things, but go and give it your best shot.
Oh, wow, that's amazing, amazing advice. Now, hey, listen, you and I are good friends. You and I know how this works. I know that deep down inside of you, you've got that one little piece of advice that you're not quite sure that you should give her. Now's the time. She needs to hear it now.
You need to take care of yourself, and you need to find time and not worry so much about her. The home is taking care of her, and there are people looking after her. So have some fun.
Oh, okay. All right. Mrs. Eagle, thank you so much for your time. I know that the hunting time is about to start now, and so I really want to thank you for making time available for us for the session.
Thank you.
Catherine, please take a seat in that first chair. That one, yeah.
Do we not have to turn to let go of the eagle or anything? Okay.
So, Catherine, you've had advice from your friend Belinda, you've had advice from Archangel Michael. What do you remember Archangel Michael telling you?
Sure. To trust the process, to keep the faith, to know that I'm doing something to help. I can't remember.
That's all right. Okay, so I made a couple of notes. Okay. He also said to you that he is with you and he's supporting you, irrespective of what decision you make. Take time to explain to her what it is that you're doing and the reason that you're doing it. And keep the faith and do your very, very best. What do you remember the eagle saying to you?
The eagle said that I need to have some fun. And to know that the people where my sister is are taking care of her, and I need to do like some letting go. Yeah. Not worry.
Yeah. Also said to you that the time that you do spend with your sister is in fact a healing process. And it's a healing journey. And that although you don't really want to be doing this, you're doing a really, really, really great job. Follow the process. Make time for yourself. So, taking all of this advice into consideration, how are you feeling right now?
Less anxious.
Yeah.
And actually quite surprised.
Fine.
What's insightful? I've learned, I've been given some encouragement. And it's the encouragement that I've been given, and I feel supported.
Okay. As you look forward into the next couple of months of the situation with your sister, how do you think it's going to be different?
It's going to be easier, more manageable.
Because by trying out the process and getting support from the home, I'm not going to get angry and upset because there's going to be some kind of a plan in place. And it's going to be managed better. Okay.
Easier for me. Much
easier for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Are you, because you said initially that it was a very frustrating situation for you. Are you still feeling that it's a frustrating situation?
I think once it's implemented and I can see it working, or even the first time that I'm seeing it working, I'm sure the frustration will be less because now I'm changing. I'm not trying to change her.
Yeah.
Because she's not able to manage it. So I'm coming up with a solution for me that makes my life easier.
Yeah. Good. Well done, Catherine. Please take your seat in your chair. Well done. Okay.
Yeah, unpin.
Yep, you can unpin me. All right. Awesome. So well done, Catherine. Thank you for volunteering and for being part of that journey with us.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let me go through that. That beautiful, beautiful, beautiful technique is called perceptual positions. And when I find it in the manual, I'll tell you where it is. On page 99. Now, this is the technique that you use when you don't know what else to use. Because the client will always want some advice on how to do stuff. So if you don't know what is the right technique to use this one. But you will have noticed that I never once said to her that I was giving her advice. Did you notice that? Okay, so you need to set up your room or the space so that there are 3 places for the client to sit. Now it's either 3 spots on the couch or 3 spots on a bed, or if the client is standing in 3 different spots. If you can get the client to sit down from one chair to another, all the better, because then they can relax physically and they can think more about it rather than having the brain thinking about standing. So obviously the first thing you need to do is understand what the situation is. What is it that is going on? Okay, again, you will notice how long did I spend with Catherine understanding it? Not long. For this one, I actually don't need to understand an awful lot about it. I just need to know she's got some challenges with some monthly supplies that she's giving to her sister, and that they're getting finished before the time they're expected to get finished. More than that, I don't really need to know, because all I'm doing is I'm guiding her on her process. So then you want to find 3 characters. Person 1 you want to find is a wise friend. Somebody who the client goes to talk to already. Person number 2 should be somebody that the client doesn't know. It can be a religious leader, it can be a politician, it can be a teacher, it can be anybody, but preferably somebody that the client does not know. You don't want deceased grandparents, you don't want, in this, you can have deceased parents and grandparents as the friend, that's fine. But for this one, you want one further step away, so you don't want them to know them. And as I said, I've had Mahatma Gandhi, I've had Jesus, I've had archangels have come, celebrities of all kinds. I have had teachers like Tony Robbins and those kind of folks. It really doesn't matter. And as you, as the coach, don't have to relate to that person having wisdom. It's not about you, it's about your client. Okay? And then you want to choose a wise bird. I like to choose either the owl or the eagle. I like to give people the option between the owl or the eagle, just because that then just solidifies it. Now, understand that this is a process of, number 1, geography, and number 2, disassociation. When you ask the client to become the friend, they're disassociating, looking in on the situation. They then become the teacher, but remember that the friend will only tell the client what the client wants to hear, because there's a relationship to protect. Okay? So the friend only goes so far. So the wise person, the teacher or the preacher or the spiritual leader or whatever it is, doesn't know the client. So therefore, there's no relationship to protect. And therefore, the subconscious gets more honest. And similarly with the owl or the eagle, you must spend some time talking about the perspective that they have, so that the subconscious using your Milton, preloading the fact that you come with a different perspective on the situation. All right. So the process is you put the client in the one chair, and then you just ask the client to tell you what's going on. Just a short little reminder. And then you get the client to stand up and to become the friend or family member, sit down in the chair, and turn to the client and give the client the best advice. Now, folks, I write down what the three parties say, because by the time I get to the end, I've forgotten. And the client certainly won't remember. The important thing is that you've got to get the visitor to talk to the client sitting in that first position. So the first position is the client. Second position is the wise friend. Third position, the wise person who's not known. And fourth position is the eagle. Get the client to stand up. They become the visitor as they sit down. They then talk to the client, face the client, talk to the client, giving best advice. If you are in the room with the client, you never ever sit in the chair that the client has vacated, because remember, they're sitting in that chair. If you are in the room with the client, make sure you're not in eyesight. So when the visitor is talking to the client, you want to be standing behind the visitor or out of line of sight. You don't want to create a distraction from this disassociation. You then repeat the process with the position number 3, which is the wise unknown person. And again, you repeat the process with the bird. It's exactly the same process, just over and over and over again. You will have noticed that each one of the visitors told her something different. Do not put any weight or any credibility on what you hear from the friend. The friend's advice is always tainted by the relationship. So once you've done all 3, you then ask the client if they remember what the wise unknown person and the bird say, just so that you bring it back into conscious memory. You do an ecology check and you do a future base. Good. Any questions?
Leslie?
Yeah.
Is it only the one question? What was the type of question that you asked each time?
I don't know. I do these things so many times. It's not a. You need to be in the moment. In a question about what, Catherine?
When you're asking the wise person and the eagle and the friend, what advice would you give her?
Something to that effect. What advice? What can you suggest? What guidance can you give them? Oh, the other thing that I meant to tell you is as the client becomes that new person, okay, massive fuss about that person. So when the client says to you, my friend Belinda, then you will say, oh, what is it about Belinda that you've chosen Belinda? So that you can use that. Hi, Belinda, how are you? It's so great to meet you. I'm so excited to chat to you because Catherine has told me that you've given her a lot of really good advice in the past. When she introduces the wise one to you, the wise unknown one, I happen to know who Archangel Michael is. And so I don't need to get a bit of background as to why. But if she came up with a name of a person that I absolutely knew nothing about, just simply ask, what was the reason you chose that one? So that you can use that to further disassociate and to get the client to associate with the character. So they're disassociating from themselves, but associating with the characters. So listen, get over yourselves. If you're in the room, you fly with your client. You would have seen my aunt doing this while I was talking to her. It's not about you and your ego and the fact you're feeling uncomfortable. The more ridiculous you are, sometimes the better. Adrian.
I've just got a quick question where you said the coach needs to be, well, we need to be out of line of sight. Is that just for the visitor or is that just in general for the whole process?
When you're talking to the client as the client, then you're in line of sight. But when the client is one of the visitors talking to the client, you want to be out of the line of sight.
Okay.
So when she is Belinda, or when she's Archangel Michael, or when she's the eagle, at that moment you want to be out of line of sight. You don't want to create a visual distraction. Trace?
Leslie, what if you get pushback from the client? What if the client just sort of says to you, I find this silly, I'm not going to go around as an eagle, I don't relate to this, can you rather do something else?
Because by the time they've got through visitor 1 and visitor 2, they're not going to now say no.
Okay.
Because they're so into it, they're not going to say no now. Okay. And you want to, again, have that, are you ready to play a game with me? Are you ready to have some fun kind of question going into it? So you get their buy-in up front. If they refuse to fly, then say to them, okay, just do me a favor. Just keep your arms down beside you, but I want you to imagine and you as the coach fly.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
In the moment, Tracy, you will know what to do. Sorry, 24, 8, 3. Are there any other questions, folks? Sorry, just give me a second. All right. No other questions? All right. 15 minutes in the breakout room, work through the process, role play it, make sure you're getting the language right. Okay. 15 minutes, I'll bring you back. All right. Any questions on perceptual positions? Obviously, you're going to do your summaries tonight. So as you're working through the summary, that'll help give even more clarity. But any questions? With this one, don't overthink it. Just know the process, know the 3 visitors, know which order to do them in. Friend first, wise person second, bird third. And Ntando.
Oh, actually, I was gonna ask around that, what you just said now, the statement about how we approach the 3, but in terms of the questions, are the questions dependent on the situation at hand? So we don't have a set group of questions that we must ask.
Yeah. But it's all about getting the visitor to give the client the advice that they need.
Okay.
Okay, so understand the reason for the progression. You're getting further and further away. You need the friend there as one step away. Safe, secure, you're good. All right? Then the next step is the person you don't know. Safe, secure, that you're good. Eagle, owl. If you go straight to the eagle, owl, you won't get the result. And let me tell you this, the bird is always the one that gives that most impactful advice.
Okay, thank you
Most
very much.
succinct, most meaningful advice, always. Cool.
Yeah, no, I have it now. I think I've got the gist of it now. Thank you.
Awesome. Good. Stephen.
Leslie, at the end, when the client is back in the first chair again, and you start going into the recap, you did a recap with the role model or the visitor and a recap with what the bird said, but not the friend. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, because the friend's advice is a waste. Because the client probably has already spoken to the friend about it and they've still got the problem.
Yes.
But you need that client to disassociate. Guys, please, somebody has got the mute button not on. Okay. So understand what happened. Stephen, if you've got an issue, you've probably chatted to your best buddies about it already. So your best buddies are only going to tell you what they've already told you.
Okay.
And they're not going to be factual and honest because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So it's a discarded step, but it's a step that you need to take to keep the client safe and secure for the next 2.
Okay, so that is literally just to give them another character to relate to and to bring the advice they already had into the situation as a reference.
Not necessarily. The point, the purpose of it is to create a safe disassociation.
Okay, cool.
Because when you're chatting to your best friend, you're calm, you're relaxed, you know, you're in a good space. And then you take that energy and that emotion into the next one and into the next one. But setting a safe space to start the process. All right. Tracy.
Leslie, sorry, perhaps I'm being a bit stupid here. At the very end, you know, when the wise person and the bird, and then you said you then asked the client, what do they remember? I thought I heard you say that they probably won't remember much. So as a coach, must you be writing those things down? Yes. Okay. All right. And once you've written them down, how do you end? How do you end that session then? Do you tell them what
you're going to? No. So you're going to, because remember, the client is so in the moment. Okay. That they're doing what they're not committing to memory, conscious memory, what they're saying. So you want to take 2 or 3 minutes just to remind them. Hopefully they remember what the wise person and the bird said. But because you've written it down, I can give it back to them in their own words, not my words.
Okay.
And then from there, you go into the ecology check. How are you feeling? What have you realized? What have you understood? And in the future pace, how will it make things different going forward?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that Sheridan was really mean to me. He told me that if I didn't give you a break right now, he was going to get up and leave. So, no, jokes aside, he was wanting to go and make coffee. I said, no, don't. You're going to have a break now. So, Sheridan, you can go and make your coffee now. All right, let's take 10 minutes. It's 22 now. I'll see you 10 to 3. Lucy, I see you've got a hand up.
Yes, please, Leslie. Will you please help me here? The last part, the celebration on that goal setting, I didn't get all of those blocks there. The last part, please.
Okay, ask me the question when we come back from break.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Leslie, sorry, quick question. Will we be getting homework tomorrow as well? I think my brain is fried.
So that depends entirely on how nice you are to me today.
I'm very nice all the time.
No homework tomorrow. All the homework will be done tonight. Well, obviously, I mean, if you haven't done your 6 things for your portfolio, then obviously you'll have to catch up on those. All right. So, Kawan, I see your hand is up.
Lizzie, I just wanted to ask, in your experience, do you get any times when like a client struggles to find a character or disconnect themselves? And if you do, how do you deal with that?
So it's all about the way you use your molten language to get them there.
Okay.
You don't want to use words like visualization. Okay, that's because that just gets you want to use words like, I want you to pretend to be, I want you to become, I want you to imagine that, all those kind of molten vocabulary.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Nklandla?
Hi, Leslie. I wanted to ask you, have you ever had clients where there was a language barrier? And if so, how did you go about coaching them in that regard? Meaning English, they couldn't understand.
Okay, Nklandla, I'm going to ask you to answer that question. If a client speaks Italian only and comes to you and says, can you do coaching? What are you going to do?
I'm going to refer that client to an Italian speaking person.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can't coach if you can't speak the language. It's like I was asked to be involved with a coaching program for people who are fleeing the Ukraine. Yeah. I've said, yes, of course, provided they speak English. I don't speak Ukraine, or whatever language they speak in the Ukraine. And what we have subsequently found out is that English is not a language that is used in the Ukraine. Very few people can speak the language. So we're having to do the coaching differently. We're having to set up the coaching with interpreters and stuff like that. You can't coach if you can't speak the language.
Okay. I get you.
All right, just before we went to break, Brucey asked me a question about the goal setting. Brucey, can you ask it again?
Yes, please. I missed it, the last 3 steps of the celebration part, which was the last part.
Did you understand what the celebration is?
Yes. Yes.
So what did you miss, Bussy?
I missed the last part that said, the first part was the toasting.
Okay, but Bussy, it's not important what I put into those blocks.
Okay.
What is important is that you understand what needs to go into those blocks when you're doing it for yourself. Because your goal is going to be different to the one that I used as the example.
Yes.
So what is in those blocks is not important.
Okay.
You've got to know what must go into the blocks. What questions must you ask to get the information into those blocks for you and for your client tonight?
Okay. I just thought when I'm looking at the examples, maybe I'll better understand when I'm doing my own.
But if you've got the last 3 missing, then you've got the first 4, so you should be good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Any other questions, folks? Okie dokes. Well, then I'm looking for another volunteer. And the volunteer that I'm looking for this time is somebody who has a behavior or a thought pattern that they want to change. Okay, and Tisa, Tell me a little bit about it.
Sorry. Okay, Leslie. So I have a problem of I do get these big ideas. I do get all the information, but there's always this little voice at the back of my mind that says, why do you think you can do that? You don't have it in you.
Okay, so please give me an example because I'm not quite understanding.
Like, for instance, like now we're doing this coaching thing. I really want to go into it. I'm for it. I can see that I'm enjoying it. But then again, now I start to say, but will I do it? Like, am I capable of doing this? Like, what if I don't get clients? You know, it's like the negatives or kind of like overweighs the positives. So it kind of like sets me back. So I've realized that in most of the things that I want to do, that thing always comes up.
This negative fear zone that suddenly turns around and says, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't.
Yes, exactly.
And how is it affecting you?
Badly. Because then I really start to question myself. It boils down to me starting to question myself, my abilities. Then I start to feel so small and I feel, okay, maybe I'm trying to play with the big sharks and I can't, you know?
Yes, you know, it amazes me because the minute you get in the water, the big sharks are going to go, oh, shit, here she comes.
Okay. I never looked at it that way.
Okay, all right. Would you like to deal with this? And if you would like to deal with it, when would you like to deal with it?
Yes, definitely. I'd like to deal with it now, please.
Now, okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Taiso, are you okay to play a little game with me? Have some fun?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So on the one hand, we've got this negative thinking pattern that, what does this negative thinking pattern actually say? You can't.
You can't. You're not like them. You're small.
But what is it? It's actually just saying you can't, right?
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. Okay.
You don't have the ability.
All right.
Or you have it in you.
When I wave my hand, which side of your screen is this on?
On my right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you turn your phone sideways? Because I need a wider screen because I'm going to need to see both hands.
Okay, let me just set myself.
Either that or just push it a little bit away from you.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm seeing the ceiling. Pretty curtains you got there. All right, okay. So when I wiggle this hand, which hand of yours is it that
It's
side?
the right hand. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a moment.
Okay.
Scan your body up and down. And what we're looking for is this I can't thinking pattern. Where is it in your body today?
It's in my heart.
In your heart, okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the hand that you write with, and I want you to go into your heart, and I want you to pull it out.
Okay, I'm left-handed. Can I use my left hand?
Take the hand that you write with.
Oh, okay.
And pull it out. Okay, now open your eyes. In your left hand now is this thinking pattern, but you can't. Okay, I want you to look at it for me, please, and I want you to give it a name, a shape, and a color.
Bumpy.
Puppy.
Bumpy.
Oh, bumpy, like lots of bumps.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It's brown.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a square.
It's a square. Okay. So in this hand, we've got bumpy, that's a brown square, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we don't want to drop bumpy on the floor, so we want to hang on to bumpy. But what we want to do is now we want to close your eyes again.
All right.
And now I want you to go and find out where is your center of creativity sitting now. All that good ideas, where do they come from?
It's in my forehead.
Okay. Well, then take your other hand and open your eyes and take it out.
Okay.
There we go. All right, now you can open your eyes. So in this hand, you've got your center of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
What color is your center of creativity today?
It's a baby blue.
Yeah.
It's round.
Okay, good. And tell me, is its name creativity or does it have another name?
Creativity.
Creativity. Okay, good. So in this hand, we've got creativity. And in this hand, we've got bumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So please introduce yourself to bumpy and to creativity.
Hi, Bumpy. I'm Ndiso. Hi there, creativity. I'm Ndiso.
Okay, good job. So now the first thing, we don't want to let creativity fall down. Eh? So we're going to hold on to creativity. But we're going to talk to Bumpy for a little bit. Okay. And what I want you to ask Bumpy is, how is Bumpy serving you? How is it benefiting you? And what is its intention for you?
So I need to ask this to Bumpy.
Yeah. And then you need to tell me what Bumpy's saying.
Okay, Bumpy. What are your intentions with me? And how are you serving me? Okay, Bumpy says, I'm saving you from embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
I'm saving you from chewing more than you can take.
Yeah.
In terms, my intention actually is just to make sure that you're safe and secure. I mean, as long as you stick to what you know, that's good for you. Keep it that way.
Okay. To what you know. But Bumpy is not telling you the whole truth. There's more.
Okay.
So ask Bumpy, what more is there? What else is he trying to keep you safe from and protect you from?
I think Bumpy is trying to save me from embarrassing myself.
Yeah, but Bumpy said that already.
Oh, from
what else is Bumpy trying to protect you from? Who or what is Bumpy trying to protect you from?
The world. It's trying to protect me from myself, from like the rejection, I guess.
Rejection by who?
By people. Outside
Specifically,
factors.
which people?
Those that know me, those that are close to me.
So is Bumpy trying to protect you from rejection by friends and family?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Ask Bumpy, what else is he or she trying to protect you from?
Bumpy, what else are you trying to protect me from? Okay, Bumpy says he's trying to protect me from failure.
Failure. Okay. What else?
Phew, okay. Anything else, Bumpy?
Either there is something or there isn't. But if it looks like there's something, what is Bumpy saying?
Disappointment more than
Okay.
anything.
All right. Awesome. So will you say thank you to Bumpy? We'll be back with you.
Thank you, Bumpy. We'll be back with you shortly.
Yes. Now we're going to talk to creativity. Okay. And I want you to use the words that I'm using, please. I want you to say to creativity, you've heard everything that Bumpy has had to say. Okay.
Creativity, you've heard everything that Bumpy had to say.
You are very, very good with coming up with a lot of really good ideas.
You are very, very good with coming up with a lot of good ideas.
Okay. So creativity, what are your 3 best ideas for me other than but you can't thinking? So if I was to replace it, but you can't thinking, what are the 3 best ways that I can replace that?
So creativity, what are the 3 things that you think I can use to replace with the words, you can't do this? Am I right? Okay. Okay, creativity says you can replace those words with you can do it.
Yeah.
He's saying you are a human being just like everybody else. There's no difference. And
does that mean if others can do it, you can do it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And unless you try, you'll never know. It will always just be what if, you know?
Okay.
So if you try, at least you will have a definite answer.
Okay. So I just want you to ask creativity. Are those the best 3 answers or the best 3 alternative behaviors? Is there another one maybe?
Creativity, do you have another one or are those the best that you can give me? I think there is another one. Yes,
yeah.
There's another. Yeah.
And what's that one?
Okay, what is it? Creativity. You are very smart. You're a fast thinker, you're smart.
So you're very smart. And what does that mean, you're very smart? Does that mean you can do it?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So let's say thank you to creativity for now.
Thank you, creativity, for now.
All right. Now we're going back to Bumpy.
Hi,
Bumpy, out of all of those suggestions, which one do you think will work best for me?
Bumpy, out of all those suggestions that creativity gave, which one do you think would work best for me? Oh, Bumpy says, well, you are a human being just like everybody else, I guess. So, yeah, I think we can go with that one.
So is Bumpy saying, if other people can do it, you can do it?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So what I want you to ask Bumpy now, is Bumpy ready to submit to the thought of, if other people can do it, you can do it?
So Bumpy, are you willing to submit to this thought that if other people can do it, so can I? Okay, Bumpy says yes.
Ask Bumpy if it's really, he or she's willing to submit right now.
Bumpy, are you willing to submit right now? Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So now what we're going to do is this. Thank you, Bumpy.
Thank you, Bumpy.
Okay. And now I want you to say to Bumpy, thank you for looking after you and keeping you safe for all of these years.
Thank you for looking after me, Bumpy, and keeping me safe all these years.
But I no longer need you.
But I no longer need you.
Because I'm just like everybody else and I've got this.
Because I'm just like everybody else and I've got this.
Awesome. Now watch what I'm going to do. In your hand, you're holding creativity.
Yes.
And creativity is holding the thought which says, you're just like everybody else. If other people can do it, you can do it.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to take your hand of creativity and I want you to lay it on top of Bumpy. Right. And now I want you to say goodbye to Bumpy.
Bye, Bumpy.
And as you say goodbye to Bumpy, I just want you to let Bumpy go. And so you're left with creativity in your hand that's holding a new thinking pattern. And what is the new thinking pattern?
If anybody can do it, so can I.
Fantastic. Now, we want to put this back. So creativity, has creativity changed? Has it changed its name? Has it changed its color? Has it changed its shape?
No, just the blue is brighter.
Okay, all right. So what I want you to do now is I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
And now it's time to put creativity that's holding this new thinking pattern of, if other people can do it, I can do it too. And integrate it back into your body.
Okay.
There we go. And as you integrate it back into your body, I want you to see that blue light going out from the center where you've put creativity back, going all the way out through your hands, going all the way down to your toes, going up through your head and out and connecting into your universe. And knowing that when you hear the I can't, that you have the choice to change it to, if other people can do it, so can I. All you have to do is you have to remember this feeling and you have to remember this color, because it'll give you the courage for 5 seconds to do it. When you're ready, open your eyes. Oh, look at this, that smile. I haven't seen that smile in 6 days. Yeah, look at that smile. Tell me what's happening.
Oh, wow, that was real. Yeah, no, that was real. I'm over it. Thank you. I'm totally over it. I'm over it.
Feeling? What are you feeling?
I mean, it's bubbling inside me. I'm excited. I'm blue all over. I'm bright. I'm shining. I can do it. Yes, definitely.
There you go. And so now when I meet you in 6 months' time, who am I going to be meeting?
Oh my goodness. A whole new person. And
a whole new person. What are you going to do with the one that you've got?
She wasn't serving me so well.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
No, I'm going to be on a whole nother level.
Fantastic. All right. Awesome stuff. Well done. And thank you for volunteering. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That one of my favorite. I keep saying this for all of these techniques, but I'm afraid it's the truth. I love that one because it is just so easy and yet so unbelievably powerful. All right, so that one is called a 6-step reframe. And I just got to find it in the manual on page 98. All right. So I'm sure that when I started with this, you thought this woman's gone insane. This is the one she showed us yesterday, right? Okay. Because they start off very much the same. The thing with the parts integration was, remember, you've got two parts that can't reconcile. All right. This one is all about finding an alternate behavior or thinking pattern. It's the 6-step reframe. And so it starts exactly the same way, is identify what is the unwanted behavior. And you bring it out and you put it on a hand and you give it a name, shape, color. The only difference to yesterday's is that this one, the unwanted behavior, goes into the hand that you write with. You then bring out creativity onto the hand that you do not write with. The reason for that is the hand that you write with is a dominant hand. The hand that you don't write with is a nurturing, gentle hand. And you want to use the nurturing, gentle hand to hold your center of creativity. So it starts off exactly the same way. Bring out the unwanted behavior, name, shape, color, bring out the center of creativity, give it a shape and a color, check whether it wants to be called creativity or it wants to be called something else. Okay, now you start exactly the same. Talking to the unwanted behavior. Of course, you know, the whole introduction and hello, how are you? And it's nice to meet you. Polite, 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 sickly, sweet, polite. Sheridan, and you are laughing because? What are you laughing at? You've got the biggest grin on your face.
I'm just laughing at your polite, sickening polite.
And then some more polite. Okay. So polite, 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 sickly, sweet. How unwanted behavior are you serving me? What is your best intention for me? Every behavior that you do serves you in some way. If it didn't, you wouldn't be doing it. It's as simple as that. The behavior benefit you might not be seeing, and you might have to scratch for it, and you might have to help the client scratch for it a little bit. But there is always a benefit. And sometimes the benefits make no sense to you as the coach. Guess what? Doesn't matter. Makes sense to the client. You want to try and get sort of 5 or 6 benefits to justify its existence. But you don't tell the client that's what you're doing. That is what the subconscious is doing. It's justifying its existence. And then you want to use some Molten language. You want to talk to the creative center. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like that guy from Strictly Come Dancing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now you're talking to the Creative Center, and this is obviously now where the whole thing changes. You want to preload that the Creative Center is very, very good at coming up with lots and lots of good ideas. Then you want to tell the Creative Center, now that you've kind of come up with all of these good ideas, what are the top 3 ideas that will give me the same benefits and serve me in the same way and then use your sensory acuity and your gut instinct, because just maybe there's another one, another really good idea. Then you thank your center of creativity and you go back to the unwanted behavior. And you ask the unwanted behavior, which of those alternate behaviors do you think will be the best for me? Because the unwanted behavior will only submit to something that is going to be better for you than it is. So on the assumption now that it says number 2, you then ask it, when are you ready to submit to the new behavior? First of all, are you ready and when are you ready? You need a now. And you can talk that around it to get to that now. Okay. And then what you do is you say, okay, this is the hand that is holding the unwanted behavior. Do it with me, please. This is the hand that is holding the unwanted behavior. This, and now you're talking to your client. This is the hand that is holding, no, you can't do it, right? This is the hand that is holding creativity, and creativity is holding the new behavior. You need to put that sequence is hand holding creativity, creativity holding the new behavior. And then what you do is you take creativity and you rest creativity on top of the unwanted behavior. You thank the unwanted behavior and you say goodbye and you let it go. Then just check in with the creativity. Has it changed its name? Has it changed its shape? Has it changed its color? If not, reintegrate it. Again, let the client close their eyes and let them reintegrate it where they want to. It can go anywhere, okay? It's not relevant. And then you go into an ecology check and a future pace. Okay. If the unwanted behavior says, hey, no, I don't like any of those options, then you've got to go back to creativity and say, hey, listen, unwanted behavior didn't like them. Come up with some more options. And you might have to do that circle a couple of times until you find something the unwanted behavior is prepared to submit to. If necessary, and you've done that once or twice, you can then maybe even ask the unwanted behavior. Okay, so you don't like anything that creativity is coming up with. What do you suggest? Guys, you've just got to play this by ear. But you've got to get to the point where your unwanted behavior submits now to a new behavior. And then you thank it for its service, thank the unwanted behavior for its service, say goodbye, let it go. Cool. Any questions? Stephen.
Leslie, so I just want to understand, so the 6-step reframe is when basically finding an alternative behavior or thinking pattern for one thing that the client is struggling with, whereas the parts integration is when two different parts are not agreeing with each other. Correct.
So the 6-step reframe is about finding alternates.
Yeah.
Parts integration is about finding a decision, a solution.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Haley, I see your hands up here.
Leslie, I noticed at one point, and I don't know if I was just seeing it, but was your hand, did it have to mirror her hand, or were you actually using yours?
No. I was mirroring her. That's why I asked you right up at the beginning, when you see this hand of mine, which side of your screen is it on? Which hand is the same? Because you want to mirror what she's doing. Exactly the same with the parts integration.
Okay, thank you.
Because you want her to look over this hand and see my hand on the same side of her screen. Otherwise, your brain's trying to interpret this crossover all the time. Nita?
Sorry, Leslie, you said the 6-step reframe is to find alternates and the parts integration is to?
Make a decision.
Make a decision, thanks.
Resolve a conflict that is going on between two parts. All right. Short, sharp, very effective process. Ten minutes. Bye. Adrian, are you part of a band already, or are you out on your own?
I'm out on my own at the moment. I haven't been in a band for quite a while, but I'm looking more to go the solo route as well. Let's see what happens there.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, no, it's very cool.
Awesome. All right. Let's just wait for everybody to get back. Cool. Welcome back, everybody. If you can just check that you're on mute.
Oops.
Okay. Any questions? 6-step reframe. Quick, easy, done and dusted process. No questions. Okay. Good. So your homework, yes, Catherine.
Busi and I were just talking about this reframe. When you said it's either behavior or thought pattern. So the thought pattern is what we were dealing in this situation. Can you just give some examples of a behavior pattern that
yeah. Client of mine, she during lockdown works from home, right? And she was getting really irritated with herself because when she was bored doing the work that she was doing, she'd get up and head for the kitchen, for one particular cupboard in the kitchen. the Tweety cupboard. And so she wanted to stop that behavior. It could be the way you react to something that happens. It could be when you're out having dinner, you always order dessert, 2 or 3 desserts, and you don't want to do that anymore. It's any kind of thing that happens over and over again. Okay. Stephen?
So this can also work for people that deals with aggression and a short temper.
Yeah, an alternative behavior for an aggressive response or a short temper, absolutely. Cool. All right. Homework for tonight. Long list of homework for tonight. I could just see if they're going, oh no. All right, number 1 is your own goals. Your own goal setting template. Number 2, your meta program voice note. Number 3, reading up to page 105. I think it's 105. Yeah. And your summaries. You will need your summaries early tomorrow morning. So please get those summaries done. Tomorrow, what will happen is we're going to put you into a breakout room, and in turn, you will present or teach the technique to the rest of your group. So I'm expecting you each to be sufficiently familiar with the technique to be able to teach it using your summaries, sure, but to sufficiently be able to teach the steps and go through it. All right. Are there any questions, folks?
Leslie, will that be all for tomorrow then? Just like, reviewing the techniques?
No. I've only given you 7 techniques so far. You've got 1 more to go. But that is a long, complicated technique, so we do it on the Friday morning. And I've got 2 training items, quick training items to give you, and then we go into this process. Okay? Bongi, was that hello, I've got a question, or was that just stretching your fingers? Okay. All right, since we've got just a couple of minutes, I want to challenge you guys with something. If you are walking down the aisle in a shop, right? And you see a little old lady stretching to the top of the shelf to get a tin of baked beans. You walk up behind her, and Adrian's really nice and tall, so he simply stretches up over the lady and hands her the tin of baked beans. In the chat, are you helping? Yes or no? So I want to say to you, no, you're not. And the reason that I want to say to you is you don't know what that woman is trying to achieve by stretching for that tin of baked beans. Because maybe by reaching that tin of baked beans, she will know that her recovery from surgery is done. And you've denied her that. Or stretching to that tin of baked beans is her sign that she's still independent enough to do her own shopping. You've denied her that. There's nothing wrong with helping, ever. But before you help anybody, ask them, how can I help you? How would you like me to help you? And maybe she will say to you, please, can you stretch and get it for me? Or she'll say to you, oh, thank you, darling. Can you find me a little chair to stand on? And I can get it for myself. Make sure that the way that you are helping people is empowering them, not making you feel good. Okay. How do I know that this group is doing that? Because every time somebody asks which form, somebody very politely goes and posts it into the group. You're denying the person the chance to go and work it out for themselves. How are you disempowering the people around you by thinking that you're helping them? How are you disempowering your children? By packing out their clothes at night, by packing their lunch boxes, by doing half of their homework. You're not helping, you're disempowering. Before you ask, you will help anybody. Have the courtesy to say to them, how can I help you? So that you help them in a way that empowers them. Because then you are living an eco-centric life. You're living your life inside out. You're doing it for the benefit of that person, not to make you feel good. If you're doing it to make you feel good, you're living an ego-centric life. You're living in your ego. I started really young teaching my daughter to make decisions. At the age of about 3.5, it was a really, really hot summer's day. And I always let her dress herself. And it was a hot summer's day in Cape Town, and she came out dressed like it was the middle of winter. Here to here, tights, boots. And we were on our way to Pick n Pay. And I said to her, Kendra, those clothes that you're wearing are for winter. We're in summer now. You're going to get really, really hot. I knew we were going to Pick n Pay and back. I knew I had air conditioning in the car, and there was air conditioning in Pick n Pay. So from a health perspective, she was safe. And I said to her, my suggestion is you go and change. If you choose not to change, which you can, I don't want to hear I'm hot. No, mommy, I'm going just like I am. Okay, fine. Put her in the car. I deliberately didn't switch the air conditioner on in the car. In Pick n Pay, as it so happened, the air conditioner was not working. So as we're driving the trolley around Pick n Pay, now she's 3, right? She's in the trolley. Off come the shoes, off come the tights. And when we got home, I said to her, and so? She says, yeah, mommy, I should have listened to you. The clothes were too hot. I empowered her to make a decision and reap the consequences. How are you disempowering your children? How are you disempowering your elderly parents? How are you disempowering the friends around you? And how can you empower them going forward? See you tomorrow. 9 o'clock tomorrow, guys. We'll start.
Thanks, Leslie.
Bye. Thanks, Leslie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.